Hey everybody, welcome to Infinite Jest Part 5. We're doing Infinite Jest in 10-page little bits and summaries. So this is going to be for pages 40 to 50. Okay, so it starts off with another weird chapter name, Year of the Depend Adult Undergarment, and it is Hal and his roommate. Basically in the, his roommate's name is Mario, and they are in the dorm. Oops. Okay. So they're in the dorm, and basically Mario's just kind of asking questions as they're kind of like falling asleep, like in the dark, and they're like, "Hey, what's with this?" And Hal's trying to go to sleep because he knows that he has to wake up for like tennis practice and stuff like that in the morning in 6 hours. One thing that he does ask about is that Moms, who's I guess like Hal's mom, never cried when Dad, who they're calling himself, passed away. And so so Mario was just kind of curious about that. And so they go back and forth with a little bit about that. And then Hal eventually is like getting really frustrated and just kind of tells him a joke and says, "Okay, I'm going to sleep now." But if, ultimately though, Hal says, "Yeah, like she was crying. She was in her own way. She was sad." They have a one-line sentence about the medical attaché that we talked about. It's at an update for at 8:10, the medical attaché is watching the unlabeled entertainment cartridge. Okay. October, again, Year of the Dependent Adult Undergarment. This whole next few pages really goes into Hal's brother Oren, and apparently he's on the Arizona Cardinals team or something like that, and how the place that he lives has very, very cold tile, but also very hot. Was it cold tile, hot windows? And they're talking about how he's talking about how there's a lot of talk about the cockroaches that kind of keep coming up, and how he has to scatter glasses upside down all around his room so he can basically catch them, and eventually they end up suffocating. And it goes on to 2 pages about talking about how he loves the hot water now, because the super, super hot water, because all the cockroaches keep coming up through the drains. He doesn't want that to happen, so he figures if he has really, really hot water, then he can put them down. He doesn't want to crush the cockroaches because it's absolutely disgusting and gets splattered everywhere, and he says it's one of the grossest things ever. And no pest control or anything else like that, can't really figure it out. Goes into Hal's brother Oren having a person come over, and she had basically they had sex, they spent the night, they all of that, and he's still kind of wondering why is she here? And let's see here. It went on like that for a long time. He talks about one of Oren's weird, crazy dreams that he ends up having regarding his mom in a mask. I guess that was stuck over Oren's face in the middle of the dream, and there was no body or anything else like that attached to it. The way that they described it was basically just kind of there was no neck or anything else like that. It was just kind of smoothed off basically. Okay, so yeah, it didn't really it didn't go into much else. So that was the 10 pages. Let's jump into some of the words that I had to look up, because some of those were pretty fun. One of them was desiccate, remove the moisture from something caused to be completely dry. Next was sallowly, of sickly yellow-ish hue or complexion, to make sallow. Benighted, I think this was my favorite word. In a state of pitiful or contemptible intellectual or moral ignorance, typically owing to a lack of opportunity. They saw themselves as bringers of culture to poor, benighted individuals. Benighted. So, and the other thing is that how it's spelt is Benighed. Benighted. Paralytic, I felt like I had a pretty good understanding of this one, just related to paralysis, but the way that it was used kind of struck me as odd. And then the last one was neuralgic, and I've never seen that. I don't think that I'd ever seen that word before. Maybe I had, but neuralgic. So neuro, I knew it had something to do with the brain, right? Involving short, severe pains suddenly along a nerve. especially in the neck or head. She takes painkillers for terrible neuralgic pains in her face. She had severe neuralgic pain while resting. So those are the words for that day. We're in 50 to 60. Let's see what's going on, and we'll see you tomorrow.